running behind today. More ways than one. Of course. Of course. Why? Why is it like that? There we go. Is that better? Is that better? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We good? Look at you being special, boy. Oh, fuck. Oh, today has been a very stressful day for multiple reasons. It's just one of those days. Wasn't it one of those days the other day? Yes. Yes. The other day was one of those days too. Yes. Oh, Christ. I don't think like if I was to describe what triggers me the most, it's definitely stupidity and disingenuous behavior. Those two really fucking annoy me. Like stupidity and disingenuous behavior. I need a fucking smoke. I think it's probably too late now, considering the amount of shit I've said on this stream. But part of me is like, maybe I should, maybe it'd be a good idea to like, not be completely honest all the time. Maybe my fucking, maybe the level of honesty I adhere to only makes my life more stressful. But there's always just been a part of me that's like, what's the point in being honest if you're not going to be completely honest? Like. So I don't know. That's something I'm struggling with right now. Is how honest to be with the people around me. How do you gauge that? How do you gauge how honest you're supposed to be? You know? Oh, I shouldn't say this because they'll freak out, or like, I shouldn't say this because it would benefit me if I didn't say it. Like, I mean, I get it. I mean, like, why be honest with a liar? You know, why? Why would you? You know, why would you tell the truth to a demon? You know. But I struggle with that. Struggling with that a lot lately is like how honest to be. Ah, 2 acre. What's the crack, man? Last again. Bah. You're only last if nobody else shows up, you know? Just do diarrhea mouth and see what shakes loose. Well, like, I mean, you guys know me. I mean, like, I've, yeah, none of us have met in like real life, but like, you know, fucking Stuntman Bear and Scouse Bear have like, and they can vouch. Like, I'm the same dude. I'm the same dude. Like in real life, like, you know, like I'm no different. Like, but I've always been like that. I've always just like said shit. I've always just like, you know, unless it's like something private between me and another person, you know, that's like the only boundary that I've really ever adhered to is like, and even then sometimes it's like, you know, like for example, like, you know, if you're going to share something that's private because it's between you and your other half, but you're like hanging out with friends and you know that like if you say it, it's going to make everybody laugh, you know. um like those are the things where I'm like, but it will bring everybody like joy if I share this like embarrassing anecdote or something, like, you know what I mean? It's like I'm just dealing with a lot lately. I'm dealing with a lot of stress, you know. And I'm not like, you know, a lot of it is my own doing, or like, you know, there's probably things that are my own doing that I'm not even like aware of, like, you know what I mean? It's like, but then there's a lot of other stuff that is completely out of my control that like, you know, I can't I can't stop other people from being retarded. I can't stop other people from having a shit, you know, mentality or outlook on things. I can't stop other people from being idiots, like, do you know what I mean? So it's like that's the thing that like is just really like fucking with me these days, is like just dealing with how fucking stupid people are. Dealing with how utterly nonsensical a lot of things are. And yeah, I don't wanna stress myself out even more right now by fucking saying stuff here that like will just come back to bite me in the ass. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like slowly changing into a situation where like I'm better off keeping my mouth shut, because if I don't, I'll end up just like throttling someone or slapping them in the face, and then sure I'll just get arrested for that. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, it's an incredibly frustrating situation to be in, where you know you're dealing with these things. You know, nothing has to be this way. You know, things could be so much easier if people just like did different shit and behaved in a different way. Um, just say it all. Yeah, I know. Like, how you been, nigga? You know, like fucking, how's you and the missus? You well? And like Iron Man Bear pointed out before, like, you know, basically in a lot of ways of like, there's times where like I don't even fucking do my best to like, is that what a man is that what a man is that what a man is reduced to, is to like pretend like things aren't happening and just like I'm all up for suffering through things. You don't know, I'm all up for enduring like pain and shit. But like, isn't a lack of honesty how we got here in the first place in terms of like the micro and macro of life? Everybody just like, oh, don't say that, you'll rock the boat. Oh, don't say this. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, things are just fucking nonsensical these days. Like, really fucking stressing me out. Like one thing that's like I could say this and nobody's gonna fucking get in trouble or anything or have something to say about it, but I've been waiting for like the government to get back to me for like since last September. Like I've mentioned this before in like the last stream or whatever. And it's one of those things where it's like I can't really, like I'm broke pretty much like financially, like do you know what I mean? Which is nothing new. Um but there's no point in me trying to get like a part-time gig or anything like that because the way all this community stuff works and like I'm getting vetted by the police or the Garda, whatever you want to call them, like, and there's all these things that take far too long to take over, weeks, months, and the whole time I'm just waiting. um and I think that's one of the things that stresses me out, like, is just like, you guys know how I work. Like, to me, like I can make shit in like days or like a day, and but a lot of the time there's no point to it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point in me fucking knocking out symmetricals once a week if nobody buys them? If I don't have the funds to like keep going, then like, and before nobody send me money, like, it's like I don't want anybody being like, oh shit, like, it's no 2 acre fucking like. It's not like that. It's just, it's one of those things where like I was describing it to Demon Hunter, where I feel like I'm in limbo right now, where like I'm waiting on, I'm doing what people want me to do. I'm doing what people have told me that they think I should do, and they think it's the right thing to do, and all of these fucking things. And maybe that's my problem. Maybe that's the fucking issue. Is I've listened to other people, you know. But then again, we wouldn't have painting goo if I didn't listen to other people, you know. Please excuse me whilst I descended a proper painting goo posture. um, it's just like, I'm just fucking stressed, lads. I'm just fucking stressed out of my mind. Things with me and the missus are not good, and like, I'm not gonna get into it, but like, that's one of the things that's really fucking with me right now. She's not in a good place mentally, and I can't be honest and forthright with her without making her mental state worse. So I've deliberately kept stuff to myself as to allow her to, like, to give her space, Um, but ultimately that doesn't matter, and fucking, because of her mental state, a lot of the perspectives and opinions that she has on things drive me up the fucking wall. And we've been together a very long time. We're not married, no kids. Not that I give a fuck. I mean, like when I look at it, like, like I find myself in a position where like I just am in such a state of flow that it's like, whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens is supposed to happen, you know. Um, and on the one side of things, I'm like dealing with things very well, like I'm coming up with good ideas. People like the stuff I do. People appreciate the stuff that I do. So it's like that bell curve thing where it's like, while this section of my life gets increasingly more prosperous and full of prospects and hopeful and grows into something or whatever. The other section of my life is falling apart at the fucking seams at a rate that I can barely keep up with, to be honest. I can be pretty good at biting my tongue, but my poker face is shit. But yeah, tiptoeing on problems, eggshells is draining. It's exhausting. It's fucking it's fucking exhausting, man. And like, you fucking that's one of those things where it's like, what is a man? As far as other people, as far as the zeitgeist, as far as the general rule of law is concerned, like, what is a man? Is a man's life supposed to just be just soulless suffering at the hands of idiots? Like, do you just meander through endless stupidity and fucking God knows what else? Like, do you know what I mean? Just, oh well, just grin and bear it. It's like, but like, at what point do you say to yourself, like, I'm all up for suffering that benefits you, you know? Because you can make the argument, you look at the biblical example of Jesus, and it's like, he suffered through all that so we could benefit from the knowledge of, like, our battles are not of flesh and blood, they're against the principalities of evil and all this fucking shit. There's a point. There is a point to the suffering. But pointless suffering, that's a different thing, And I feel like, and I think, not just feel, like my rational mind is observing things in my life the past several years, and I'm like, why am I doing this? What gain is there? What prize do I win for these sufferings? Like, I don't mind doing shit for free. I don't mind fucking, volunteering my time and my energy for certain things, like whether it be financially beneficial or beneficial, like, the story of your one Wendy with the workshop I did last year and stuff. Like, I am profoundly motivated by the existential, by the things of, like, there's a reason we do X and there's a reason we do Y. Like, I've never cared about money. I've never cared about money. I don't care about money. But the reality is that you need money in order to function and all of these things. It's like, okay, so some suffering is necessary. I completely understand this, But when you're and like, I'm not even being like assaulted on all fronts. Quite the opposite, really. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, for the most part, left to my own devices. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's why I suppose lately have been questioning things where I'm like, am I wrong? I've been wrong before. It's like totally not like impossible that, like, I've made mistakes, that I've done the wrong thing. But because of my experience and because of how I got where I'm at, like, you have on the one hand, people are like, oh, you should do a painting stream. Painting Goo has been incredible in many ways. I've sold paintings through Painting Goo. I've brought people joy. I've brought people laughter. People like me ranting. Like, oh, like, people say it all the time. It's like, no, speak your mind. Fucking say what you want to say. Like, fucking, like, while you're LARPing as a Japanese demigod live at the internet in front of people. Like, it's fucking one of those things where it's just like, where's the cutoff point? When do you stop being you authentically for the sake of others? Is there a moral or logical or rational argument for that? Isn't the reason why so much shit is fucked up right now, both on a micro and macro, personal and public, because people haven't been honest? Because people have lied and deceived and held themselves back, and essentially, I don't like to call people cowards, like, do you know what I mean? But it's cowardice. It's cowardice not to just be like, this is what I'm thinking. This is what's on my mind. This is what I think. Like uh, this is my like as far as I'm concerned, this is my argument for this, that, and the rest. Like it's like when you find yourself surrounded by retards, you know, um, and I'm not completely surrounded by retards. Like there's plenty of people in this very town, and not just on the stream, who agree with most of the shit that I have to say, and like I make people laugh and stuff. And it's I suppose that's where the conflict is. It's like there's a part of me that is like, okay, so these people are laughing at my jokes, are agreeing with what I have to say, are behind me 100%, backing me, egging me on, providing me both with spiritual, financial, all sorts of sustenance to like keep me going because they believe in who I am and what I'm doing. But then there's the other side of it. And then I'm left sitting there going, so what do I do? Who do I trust? Who's lying to me? I'm pretty sure I know who's lying to me. Like who's being an idiot? Who's accusing me of being what I'm not and stuff like. And it's difficult. It's very difficult. Like Now, obviously, I'm not going to be completely open and honest about the stuff between me and the missus because it's between me and the missus. That's a large portion of what's going on in my life right now. It's one of the reasons why I'm so emotionally distraught right now, is because things are not okay between me and her. It's very frustrating because I know she's not at a good place mentally. So that just makes it more difficult. Because it's not exactly like I'm walking on eggshells. Rather, it's just frustrating to to be content in your life when your significant other isn't, and there's something wrong with them, and they don't even know how to handle it. So, and I've been like, fucking, we've been together so long, and it's not like she hasn't been through shit because of me and all these things. And then there's the other stuff, like, it's like dealing with the community stuff. A lot of confusion, a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of just things taking way longer than they should, even though they don't need to. I'm experiencing an intense level of frustration at the moment, and I'll be the first one to say that I'm not dealing with it very well. I'm trying my best, but as of the last 3 weeks, I'm fighting a losing battle. So in many ways, I find myself at a point now where I'm just like kind of throwing my hands up and being like, all right, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, And there is a part of me that just doesn't want to fucking talk about any of this shit. Because that's not really why you guys watch this stream. You want to have a laugh. I want to have a laugh. I want to just create stuff and do whatever. But similar to what Printer Bear said, it's like I kind of have a fairly shit poker face. It's fairly obvious when I'm angry, when I'm upset, like I've always kind of worn my heart in my sleeve. And maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. I'm sure as hell not going to go to some fucking government-sponsored psychiatrist and fucking tell them my issues, because I've been there and done that and worn the t-shirt, like, do you know what I mean? I'd be the first to tell you that, like, drugs don't make anything better, but maybe that's like, it's a subjective thing. I I don't have all the answers. I know I'm not right about everything. I would be a fucking fool and an arrogant one at that to assume that I am, and I don't think I'm right about everything. But I have a fairly good idea of like when I'm dealing with bullshit. And then I'll describe that, and people are like, "No, that's bullshit." And I'm like, "Okay, so I'm not crazy. I'm not wrong." Which, if anything, sometimes it makes it actually more frustrating because it's like, okay, so I'm not wrong, but I'm still in this position, and I'm being told, that I'm wrong, or like people are disagreeing with me and shit. Like it's like man, I don't know how Owen deals with all these like fuckheads on the internet being like, you're just this and you're just that and you're just this. Like, I mean, like to have the mental acuity and stamina to deal with animals and retards like all the time and make it entertaining and funny, like that's a fucking skill and a half, like, you know what I mean? uh but yeah, it's like just I'm very stressed out these days. um but I just keep getting up and I keep going. Like, I think today was the first day that I stayed in bed for a long time because I'm just exhausted. I am fucking exhausted, but I'm not stopping. And maybe that's my problem. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I should just take advantage of the fact that like things are taking a long time to tick over, and like things are, like this 1 minute and like this the next. Like, things are like, it's like shifting sands and stuff. Like, it's unsecure, uneven footing, and smoke and mirrors and nonsense. And it's kind of like when Owen was describing that situation where, like, he'd be putting something together that I may be wrong and likely a bit crazy, but I'm not lying. Yeah, like, dude, yeah. It's like, I'm not. It's not even that. Like, it's not just that I'm not lying. It's like I'm being compassionately honest. If I was to be like totally honest, people will get hurt. People will get upset. And I'm like, I'm quickly approaching a time where I don't care anymore. And I don't like that. I care. Sometimes I care too much. Sometimes I care way too much about other people's feelings. Um, because it's not nice when somebody turns around and calls you an asshole, or like, fucking whatever fucking title or name they fling at you and shit like that. And like, it's just, I'm rapidly approaching a place where I couldn't give less of a flying rat's ass about what other people think and what other people feel about what I have to say, because it's what I believe and what I think and what I know. It's not all what I know, because I might be wrong. But if you can show me that I'm wrong, I'm more than willing to stand here and like be proven wrong. But when you end up in a endless back and forth of like being like, okay, well, what about this and this and this and stuff, and you're presenting logic, reason, rationale, and compassion, and understanding, comprehension. I mean, please tell me, if in the course of the past 450 odd streams that I've done over the last couple of years, like, do you guys think I'm stupid? Do I appear to be someone who can't understand and comprehend complex, nuanced things and sophisticated ideas. You know, like I've repeatedly stated that I don't think I'm necessarily that intelligent because I'm aware of people who are vastly more intelligent than myself. But I sure as I'm not no fucking retard, and I don't think I'm stupid. I can be stupid. I can make stupid decisions. I can, make stupid choices. I can be clumsy sometimes. It's usually when it's in the dark and I can't see shit. I'm rarely clumsy when I can see what's going on. The amount of times I fucking, missed the last step on the stairs and I'm like, I should have turned the fucking light on. Like, do you know what I mean? You'd think by now I'd know how many stairs there are, but like, am I the only one that fucking does that shit? You'd be living in the same house for fucking 20 odd years, but if you don't turn the fucking light on, you forget how many stairs there are. You miss the last one, spill coffee all over the place. Like, I wouldn't be able to do stuff like that if I wasn't honest. If I wasn't able to just like pick myself up. Like, I argue with myself in my own head. But what about this though? Have you considered this? What about their feelings? Like, they appeared, and I'm not saying I'm always right about what other people feel. How could you be? You don't know the inside of their fucking head. You know? But even the fact that I say those things shows that I have an understanding of what's going on. At least to a certain degree. Definitely to a greater degree than most, like, I would argue a lot of people have. It's just this, I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying too hard or something. I don't fucking know. Like, spent. Fucking spent. I just like, to boil it down, I'm dealing with a lot of stress, and it's getting to me. And I will forever be grateful for you guys and this stream, because sometimes it appears to be the only time where I can just be like, blah, and I'll get like an honest response, and a response that makes sense. And I just realized that Sorry Delta Bear said that he was gonna fucking listen with his fucking child, and I'm just sitting here bitching about stuff. So like, my apologies for that. Just listening to some LARPing ginger fuck on the internet bitch about his life. Stick some fucking tunes on. Paint this fucking monkey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm in a bad mood, but it's the truth. I'm in a bad mood and I'm very stressed. And I appreciate that you're all willing to listen to me go on about how fucking stressed I am. I need some metal in my life right now. Some heavy metal. fucking womp. Fucking don't sweat it. She didn't hear anything drop there before you dropped her. Why would you do such a thing? Don't drop the baby. Rant on, brother bear. Yeah, I know. Like I fucking like. That's why I appreciate you guys, because you're always like, no, like get it off your chest, like and shit, like like I know, and I know it's important to get it off your chest, but it's like it's one of those things where like I sometimes maybe I'm wrong, but sometimes I think I indulge myself too much, where like I fucking I let it get to me. I do. I let it get to me. Um, but it's because that I don't. For a while, I've prior and this I'm probably foolish for this, but I've prioritized trying to do the things on the daily that will um, provide like I'm trying to do the stuff that I think I should be doing that will like alleviate some of the stresses that have been around for a while. Like, do you know what I mean? Like putting more work into this, putting more energy into this, and so on and so forth. But in doing that, I have neglected, you know, working out and uh, speaking my mind um, to the degree that I feel it should be spoken. Like, you know, and it's like it does. You're dead right. It builds up. It can be exceedingly difficult over time to just keep holding it in, keep holding it in, keep holding it in. You know, and I see on the one hand, I see more people. You know, it's like that bell curve I was talking about. On the one hand, things are getting better, and I'm trying to focus on that. I'm trying to focus on the positive. I'm trying to like not let things get to me and like focus on the good, the true, and the beautiful, and be grateful for things. You know, I find myself like consciously, despite how bad any given day may go, I'm like, lying there in bed or before I eat a meal, I just take a moment and I'm like, thank you for everything, the good and the bad, and I've I've lost my patience, and patience is a virtue. So obviously, on some level, I'm like committing a sin. You know, I've I've lost my patience with many things in my life, and I think I've allowed things to frustrate me to a point where I'm obviously just like at a breaking point, and that's my fault. You know, the same things that allowed me to come to a realization several years ago while I was still living in Lucan with my mother and my sister. I came to the realization that my behavior and my anger and my um, to a level my victim mentality had only made things worse. And I put the effort in, I did the work, I did what I thought I needed to do, and it worked. It worked. Things got better. My mother was happier. My mother is happier now. I have a good relationship with my mother, um, which I'm very grateful for. Um, and I thought moving here with Emma was like the right thing to do, because in many ways, throughout my time in my woe is me stage, I had taken her for granted, and I had ignored certain things. But you can't you can't always fix things, you know. Some things need to some things just are the way they are. Um, and I find myself in a place now where I suppose I am frustrated because I've come to the realization that I I can't fix these things that I want to try and fix. It is up to other people to fix those things. Um, and like I said, I've lost my patience. I've lost my patience, and I've found myself in a place where I'm exhausted. Um, and I think it's not like I know life isn't fair. You know, I've an extensive amount of experience with life not being fair. Um, so it's not like I'm under any illusions. Um, but I have recently, I found myself in a place where I I don't know what to do. These past few months, I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm playing a game of chess, and I am wholly ignorant to how this particular game of chess is being played. So I've clearly got a lot to learn um, about a few things. I am trying my best to um, stay calm, to stay grateful, um, but it's become increasingly difficult. And I suppose the last week has brought me to a breaking point. And that's okay. Everybody has these like trials and tribulations and stuff. Um, but instead of dealing with, times in the past where I was I was coming to the conclusion where I was like, oh, okay, many of these problems in my life are ultimately my own doing, you know, and I genuinely don't think that I'm doing that this time. Like again, I could be wrong, you know, but I am in a place now where I'm incredibly frustrated because I keep assessing the situation, and I keep coming to the conclusion that there's not a lot else I can do um, in the areas that are really frustrating me, other than just like accept things, you know. And maybe that's the lesson I'm learning right now, is like, it's just, you know things are the way they are, and it's not you this time. Now it's somebody else, and you gotta just keep going, just keep fucking painting, just keep walking, just keep going. um but yeah, i'm uh I'm very frustrated. I'm exceedingly frustrated the past few weeks. and I'm sorry that I haven't built up enough of a resistance to nonsense that I can uh, like in all like I am incredibly grateful for you guys the last few weeks, especially Stabaroo and Printer. Um, like because obviously it's not like I haven't been, like I'm still doing the painting and stuff, but like just you guys getting involved and being like more active in the stream and making the music has really helped, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. It is it's very comforting to know that I have guys like you who and Margie. I know she's not here right now, but I'd probably be in the depths of despair, snapping, if I didn't have this stream and you guys in the sense of being able to just like have my own space here or whatever, like, and I'm incredibly grateful to have guys like Alan and Brendan and women like Wendy, who understand me, because I can only imagine what people. Well, not that I can only imagine. I know I come across very aggressive, angry, hot-headed, borderline murderous at times. But I'm not wrong. Like I'm not. Like I'm more like I'm not saying I'm right about fucking kidnap the women and children and glass the place. Like, obviously, I know that's not the way to do things. But when I say that, that's how I feel, and that's how I know that I'm not some narcissistic gobshite with no self-awareness. Like, I'm the first one to say, like, I shouldn't be in charge. I'll hang people. Like, that's not to say that some people shouldn't be hung. Like, it's just dealing with an overwhelming amount of stress lately, and I'm very grateful for you lot, all of you. I just have a lot going on. I'm spinning a lot of plates right now, and I've been doing that for a while. I've been spinning a lot of plates for a while, and the reality is that on the daily, in reality, here in Tipperary, I am, in a sense, most of the time on my own. And I suppose the last few weeks have just kind of pushed me over the edge. And I know it's not the first time. I've had many a fucking ranting session on this stream. So, my apologies for being a bitch and losing my cool. Yeah, best to air it out and talk about it. If not with us, someone close to you. Not easy to carry all that burden sometimes. Yeah, like fucking. And like I'm always very aware that like there's people worse off than me. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like I don't think that's a healthy attitude to like always be like, oh, it's like what Owen was talking about. It's like, I am but a worm. People have worse issues than me. It's like everybody's on their own journey. If you need to fucking cut loose and fucking, you know, smash some plates, then like, fucking do it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's it is what it is. Like, couldn't agree more. Not healthy to let the bad shit build up with no place to go. And like in a lot of ways, like that's what I've said. It's like it's my own fucking doing. In many ways, because like I should just go work out, you know. Um, I should just go work out, but there's something stopping me from doing that. There's a part of me that's like trapped in my own mind lately, and I think it's because I have foolishly, obviously, um, I have prioritized the money again. I've made this mistake before. I've prioritized like I need to make money. I need to do this. Like I need to take pressure off the female. I need to do this and I need to do that. And ironically, it is like just sent me totally awry when I should be prioritizing my ability to stay calm, my ability to not let these things get to me, my ability to process these things in like a healthy manner instead of just waking up every day like tired and stressed and still being able to like the streams have been great lately. you know Streams have been fun, funny, full of creativity. My skills are improving, the tunes have been amazing. It's like I mentioned, it's that bell curve that like it's like crossroads shit where it's like on the one hand stuff is like getting really good, but on the other hand stuff is also getting worse in other ways. And I suppose that's why I feel so polarized and conflicted, because it's like one part of my mind is being pulled, more and more to the left, and while the other part of me isn't even being pulled. Part of me is like whimsically dancing into the other direction, where it's like, oh, things are going really well. Oh, this is great, and blah blah, and like I'm full of hope and like overwhelming optimism in a lot of ways, like, and I'm like literally telling other people, it's like, don't worry, bro, don't let it get to you. It's gonna be good, and like, there's this and there's that, and like I've other people in my life, like, coming to me and I'm consoling them and like, I'm giving them advice on how to handle shit. And like, meanwhile, in the background, I'm like just dragging balls and chains and just like fucking getting really fatigued. Like, it's funny. Like, you may as well be trying to hold in a fart. You stop it from coming out, it's gonna hurt. And it might come out in the most unwanted way. I know, yeah. I'm free to talk anytime, bro. I like, yeah, I really appreciate that. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like the reality is that, and I'm probably a fool for this, but like, I I always assume that you've better shit to do than to like talk to me. You got kids, full time job. You're fucking like making me tunes and fucking making like circuit boards and fucking cables and shit. Like, it's like, um, and like part of me thinks I don't need it. You know what I mean? Because like I hang out with Hunter on the weekend. I hang out with Demon Hunter Bear on the weekend, and like, or at least I used to. Do you know what I mean? Like the last couple of weekends I've been like kind of off and on and shit like that, and like that's enough for me. And like that's more than enough for me to just have a laugh with him and Sonia. I mean, Matt's one of the best friends I've ever had, and I've never even met the guy. He's intellectually and emotionally and like spiritually, despite him being a Christian or whatever, like completely on my level, you know. Most of the time, I think he has more of a calm shit about him, and it's probably because he pumps iron all the time. Um, I'm just, yeah, it's one of those things. It's just one of those days. It's just fucking one of those days. But I'm gonna shut the fuck up now, and I'm gonna fucking play metal, and I'll do the phrase in like the next like 20 minutes or something. I have gotten a chuckle out of you. Victory achieved. Yeah, well, at least I've managed to do that. Yeah. I haven't listened to this album in fucking ages. Love this album. Shit goes hard as fuck. This is called Ovid's Withering Scryers of the Ibis. I'll link it into Telegram. It's one of the best metal albums I've ever heard. It's fucking a really good combination of like it's incredibly heavy, but it's also like hauntingly beautiful, and it's about like Greek mythology, um, like the betrayal of the gods and like Poseidon and stuff and all. Like it's fucking. I think it's Poseidon's betrayal of Zeus at some point. I can't remember specifically, but like it's just really cool. Remember the first time I heard it years ago. A mate of mine, it was technically a friend of a friend, but I always really liked him. We got along well. Just didn't hang out that often. Um, he uh, he used to do everybody's iPods for them or an MP3 players because he was like really good at like doing all that. Like he used to crack people's PlayStations and stuff or jailbreak, whatever you want to call it. Um, and he'd do the same with like people's MP3s and iPods and stuff. And I gave him my thing one time, and I was just like, dude, just put all whatever on it. Like, and that was one of the albums he put on it. And I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, dear Lord, this is good. Like, I just slapped it in Telegram there. It's really good. If you're into like the sort of metal, um, that you've heard on the stream or whatever, like it's easily one of the best ones I've ever heard. And it's not just like it's one of the reasons why I really like Upon a Burning Bodies first album. Upon a Burning Bodies first album, their first major release was all Al Pacino movies. Like every single one of them was an Al Pacino movie, or at least I think most of them were. So there's like a narrative, there's like a story. It's the same with this, where because it's all about like mythology and shit, like it's just when you listen to the whole album the whole way through, and I think it's like when I used to get the bus to go see Emma, when she was like living up north, while she was doing college. This album's like an hour and 12 minutes long, and all the songs lead into each other. It's like I used to just sit there drawing. It's fucking incredible, absolutely incredible album. What time is it? Fucking bullshit. Wrong button. Right, we'll do the phrase of the day. Gotta clean the bitch first. Okay. With the help, my feathery friend, Bias Speakers Cross, we shall announce today's phrase of the day. How that tiny bird has not dissolved from all that vibration is beyond me. Right. Sumimasen. Let me see. Right. Today's phrase of the day is as follows. To call a Wookie. That's a Wookie, not a Wookie. Because when I first read that, I was like, a Wookie? A Wookie. Though those of the clan of Woke, or the Woke horde, to call a Wookie a snowflake is to insult snowflakes, as they are neither unique nor beautiful. Fucking true. Not necessarily like, laugh out loud funny, but fucking very, 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 very true. It's funny, like, you don't hear that anymore. It's probably exactly for that reason. You don't hear the word snowflake anymore. Because, sure, they may be delicate and stuff, but snowflakes are at least incredibly beautiful. And symmetrical. Which are, obviously made by God and all that stuff, which Wokies are definitely not. They are the offspring of Satan himself, in my humble opinion. A solid phrase. A solid phrase. I know he's been lacking on the Polish jokes lately. Maybe I'm not the only one who's a bit off his game. I noticed that myself. I was like, "Where's the bonus Polak jokes?" He's been lacking. Methinks Desmondo Sama has set the bar too high, or maybe it's because his new fucking what would you call it? The power washer. I think the new power washer has made you weak. I think old Hans Landa has made you complacent. 10. Right. Yeah, I've been lazy with them of late. Yeah, well, like it's probably like it's probably just like I don't know if the rest of you are feeling like similar or something, but like the start of 2026 has been fucking stressful, man. Like it's like January has just been like there's been very little good news. A fuck ton of bad news. And just like a ton of stupid shit. So fucking 2026 is setting the bar. Setting the bar. Oh, I haven't had coffee in a few days. My stomach is probably like, whoa! Like fucking Crash Bandicoot. Whoa! I remember that being some of my favorite lyrics. Is fucking that this song is called "Murder to Dissect," and it's like I can't even remember the whole thing, but just the last couple of lines there. It's like, now the visions are clear, murder to dissect. like, I remember reading all the lyrics at one stage. I could barely remember them, but I remember just like one time reading the lyrics, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, the bars in this, like, because it's just all about that, like, the mythical betrayal of gods, and how like there's one where fucking it's like he stops doing all the metal like goring and the screaming and shit, and he just like speaks, and he's like, actually, I think it was a few songs ago, and he's like, uh the gods are dead, Olympus is dead. It's like, save for the puddling of rain around them. Like, it's just, the shit's poetic as fuck. Like, it's one of the reasons I really love, like, and the artwork on the album's fucking class. Just you're one getting dragged into hell. Like, it's fucking deadly. Beijing goo 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 goo. 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 I wonder if... Jesus, that didn't... Oh no, hold on. I need to wait for it to kick in. Oh no, yeah, never mind. I wonder if what it'll look like if I turn the backlight off. It's like the top right hand corner of it is very washed out. Give me a sec. What does that look like? Yeah, not much better. Oh, the frame rate's a bit shit now. Okay. Ugh. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole album there. There's that like breakdown there or whatever you call it, like. This bit here, fucking savage. The way it just slows down. Some of the fucking, I don't even like, I know some of the terminology, but I don't even know if I'm right about like where those terms actually like what those terms actually describe. But like just the breakdowns and the lows and the highs and the, like, you know, just some of the transitions from like the change in pace in some of the songs in this, like, some of the best I've ever heard. Like, Right, I'm gonna leave it there. Fucking getting on. I don't want to be up too late tonight. Still have another 2 days of the week to fucking get through without snapping at someone. Thanks for putting up with me today, lads. I know it's not what you tune in for. Just listen to me bitch about life. But like Stabber Sama said, it's like I need to fucking expend it somewhere, like, you know. And at least here it's like, you know, fucking a fairly healthy way and still somewhat semi-productive. For something that I had no idea that was like, you know, going anywhere, the seppuku forest. I suppose it's not even a seppuku forest, is it? No, it's become a murderous baboon forest that this, you know, unfortunate samurai has strolled into and subsequently got butchered by 2 very dangerous monkeys. My subconscious mind was inspired by Sekiro or some shit like that. Like, anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I need to get the dinner on and get to bed at a fucking reasonable hour. Right, fucking. Don't forget to smash that right button like it has insulted your ancestors. It's all good, bro. Praying you find your balance again. Fucking, you know, me, every couple of months I fucking, at least for the last few years, every couple of months I fucking just like start snapping all over the place. I guess just this time it's particularly bad for a multitude of reasons. It's nothing I won't survive, you know. But yeah, thanks for the encouragement and like I said, putting up with me and shit. Rest assured that tomorrow's goo will be about the goo and not me being a big fucking pile of goo. Be good, be true, be beautiful, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow will be. What have I got on tomorrow? I have that fucking. I have to be in the community thing again tomorrow. Well, I don't have to be, but like. But yeah, fucking. It'll be 4 p.m. tomorrow. I'll see you then, right? God bless. And I'll see you tomorrow. Sayonara, my beloved Japanite.